Hey everybody, my name is Ryan Barr. I'm a team lead of the Gumbo Capitalism team here at SPEC Lab. And I'm super excited to meet you all and get to working with you over the summer. So right now I'm going to give you a brief tutorial on the citation software that we use. It's called Zotero. Why do we use the citation software? Well, generally at SPEC Lab we are producing research that is either very long or has a lot of cites or probably both. So we need to have a nice way of organizing all of these citations so we don't lose them. And make sure we are able to keep track of all of these. So just to get started, you're just going to type into Google, Zotero. It's Z-O-T-E-R-W. You're going to click the top link. You're going to need to make an account. So here in the top right, you should see login. If you click that, it'll say register for a free account. Please use the email that you have associated with SPEC Lab, whatever that may be, because we are going to need to invite you to certain group libraries. And it'll be super useful for us, and it'll make it a lot easier if we already have your email on file. So just use your email that you have associated with SPEC, click login or create account or whatever, and it'll take you to this kind of web page type deal. There is like a web client-based browser version of Zotero that we don't really use, so just click Zotero. It'll take you back to the main screen where you're going to click download. This is specifically going to be for Windows because I do not use Mac, I use Windows. If you do have problems with Zotero on Mac, let me know and I can try to help you as best as I can. But for now, most of the stuff that I cover in terms of the actual client will be the same Mac or Windows, but the installation and stuff is going to be a little bit different. So you're going to install both of these. This is like a web plugin that you can use it when you're just browsing the web. So install the Chrome connector or whatever browser you use. And then click download for Windows here. Or if you obviously are using Mac, click Mac, etc. I'm sure you guys have all installed things on your computer. A little pop-up will show up on the bottom left. Hit keep. It won't harm your computer, I promise. If it does, my bad. Just kidding, it won't, don't worry. So once you get all that installed, you are gonna, it'll probably open up on its own, but it'll take you to this page, this awesome, super cool blank white page with some random lines. So there are basically two libraries that Zotero kind of operates in. There's your personal library where you can kind of make separate like folders and whatnot. And then there's the group libraries. In SPEC, we are going to use the group libraries. This is what allows us to collaborate. And if you add in a citation and your PI like Professor Graham or Professor Markowitz or Professor Becker needs to access this citation, they can just go here and everything is there for them. So this is what allows us to collaborate. But as you can see here, we have just in this folder, probably like a few thousand citations that we've used on books, articles, etc. But without Zotero, I don't know how we would possibly manage all of these citations. This is why it's useful. But yeah, so we're going to give a brief introduction. So how does this work? Well, we'll start with the My Library. For the group library, we're going to need to invite you to these group libraries, which is why I asked you to use your SPEC Lab associated email. That way we have it on file and we can easily invite you to these. In terms of which folders you're going to be invited to, I'm sure it's going to depend on whatever team you're working on. Also, some teams use Zotero more than others, so you might not even need this tutorial or use the software, or you might need it a lot. So hopefully this helps you out in some way. But yeah, we'll invite you to a specific folder and you can join that, and it shouldn't be too easy, or it shouldn't be too hard. And if you have problems joining this, just let me know, but you should just get like an email that'll ask you to join a certain library. But we're just gonna, for tutorial's sake, go in My Library. So we can do a new collection, which will just open up a new little folder here. So we'll just call it test, right? So let's say we want to, let's say we're looking at certain articles. I can't type. We're looking at certain articles for a certain project. So we're just kind of, let's say we're looking for an article on external threat. This is in my mind because I wrote a paper on this recently, but so you find the article, right? It doesn't really matter how you find it. It's just everything's gonna be the same. But it's just an article that I have on my brain. And then once it, you kind of get, once you get it pulled up, you can click this little plugin that we downloaded earlier. it'll say save to Zotero, and you can select which folder you want to select to, right? So we're just going to do test like we said before, and then we're going to click done. And then if you go back to Zotero, there it is. Look at that. And in the right side, you can see all of the different information that it collected. Its type, its title, its author, abstract, where it was published, how many pages, what issue, date, et cetera, right? All the things that we need when we're citing an article. If it's missing some of these things, that's possible, right? Like depending on how the web page is formatted, Zotero might not pick up everything. So you're gonna have to double check this. Every time you add something into Zotero, double check, make sure that it looks like it has all the vital information. If it doesn't, you can click here and just add something, right? Or if it has wrong information, you can click and you can delete things. But make sure that it's correct as far as you know. And then it will live forever in this little folder. So how do we use this? Well, if you go to Word, let's say we're writing an article, right? You should see this little Zotero plugin once you downloaded it, right? If you do not see this, you should go to your Zotero application, and you're going to go into Tools. You're going to click Add-ons, and you should see this Zotero Word for Windows integration. Hit Enable if it's not enabled. It should already be enabled, but it's possible that it's not enabled. So do that. If you still don't see it, you can go back to Zotero. You can go to Edit, Preferences, and you can go into Site here. It'll be on General by default. Just click Site, go to Word Processors, and then hit Install Microsoft Word Add-in. If it's not already installed, it'll tell you right here if it is or not. It should be, but if it's not, just hit this button. It'll install, hit OK, restart Word probably, and then you should see this. If you don't see this, I actually had some problems getting Word to show up on my computer. So I guess we'll cover it just in case other people have that issue. So if you don't see this, you're gonna have to do some kind of more in the weeds stuff. So if you open your File Explorer and you go to wherever you installed Zotero to, so for me, it was in my local disk, program files, scroll down to Zotero, right? You'll see your Zotero folder. So open this, then you're gonna go into extensions, then you'll see Zotero WinWord integration at zotero.org. Click this folder, go into install. You'll see two different icons, right? You're gonna wanna pick the one that looks like it has like a, it's like the blue like background in white outline, not this one. Or if you have like the type on, you'll see like just Microsoft Word M ... not Microsoft Word 9. So this specific one right here. Then you're gonna right click it. You're gonna wanna copy it. Don't ask why this is so difficult. I had to look up so many things as to why this is the case and how to fix it. But after you have that copied, you're gonna go into Word, hit File, go to Options, right? Then you're gonna have to go to Advanced, scroll down, just keep scrolling down until you see General, right? This little General tab. Then you have to click File Locations. And then if you click Modify, oh, sorry. You have to click Startup first. Hit Startup first and then Modify. My apologies. It'll take you to this folder. Then what you can do is you can paste the Zotero.dotm in to this. I already did it, right? So you would paste this in and then restart Word, and you should see this little plugin. If not, let me know. I had to troubleshoot this for a long time to figure it out. So this should work, but if it doesn't work, let me know and I'll try to figure out a different method. But we're gonna go ahead and assume that you have this little tab. This little tab is fantastic. It saves us so much time and so much effort. So if you remember, we kind of saved this article to our library here from our webpage, right? We just clicked this little button, saved it, everything's awesome. So we open Word. Let's say we're typing an awesome, I'm typing an awesome paper, right? And of course we don't want to plagiarize, so we got to cite whether or not it's an awesome paper. So what we would do then is we would click Zotero, and you would just add, actually, I don't think you need to even add the footnote yourself. I usually just do it out of habit, right? Control-Alt-F adds a footnote if you didn't know, but I think you can just do it like this. So if you just go to Zotero, add citation, we'll go a little slower. Zotero, add edit citations on the left side here. You just click that, it'll ask for like a citation style, so you can choose different styles to what you want to cite, right? It can be APA, Chicago, MLA, right? We generally at SPEC Lab use Chicago. Please check with your PI and make sure that, Chicago is what they want whenever you're citing this, because it could vary depending on, what they're doing. But yeah, just make sure with your PI, double check what format they want it in. And then you're just going to click whatever format that is. Don't really worry about this, and then just hit OK. And it'll add the little footnote here, right? So then it'll pop up this search bar. So we can just search all of our Zotero libraries. So remember, we added this external threat and alliance formation article. We click it, it'll show up. You can also add multiple citations. So if I were to add a second one, right? Let's assume that this is a different article. But you can add multiple at one if you need to cite multiple sources for the same footnote. And then you hit enter. And you see here, it cites it, right? You see the footnote, everything's perfectly awesome, cool. And then everything's totally fine and dandy. And then what we can do is the next feature that makes Zotero super cool is if you go to, let's say you're going to make the bibliography, right? And you want to compile all of the sources that you use. Let's say you cited 100 things using Zotero, right? And this article is 100 pages long, or however long, it doesn't matter. You're then just going to go to the Zotero tab, add edit bibliography, and it'll generate every single citation that you've entered using Zotero will then generate in alphabetical order when you click this button, add edit bibliography. And then if you hit it again, you can edit it, and it'll show all of the references in bibliography. You can delete some if you deleted some information. You can add some more in, but it makes it a lot easier. So that button is fantastic. If you want to switch all of the citations to a different format, let's say you did them all in APA and you messed up, right? It happens. And you want to switch them all to Chicago, you can just go to document preferences. It'll show the citation thing again. You can just click a different style. Let's go to APA. You click it. Citation completely changes. Footnote completely changes. Not sure why it disappeared, but citation completely changes. Generally, you don't want to do this because of what you just noticed there. Something happened with the footnote, but it is like a catch-all option if you were to, need to change. Just do this again real quick, right? Add it in. Now it'll be in APA format. Go ahead, add the bibliography. There it is. And if we wanted to go to document preferences, change it to Chicago, change to Chicago, change to Chicago. And that's basically how you use Zotero. Another pretty cool thing that you can do is, depending on where you get your information from or where you use this little web page plugin, you can actually just double click it and it'll pop up a PDF of the article. If you forget, what it's about. Obviously, it also says the abstract here, but if the PDF is attached, it just pops up. Read the article. Super cool. But yeah, that's basically it. Sometimes you'll actually add in multiple. Let's say like you and a colleague both find the exact same article, and you add it into the folder. It can kind of clog up, all of these citations that we have, and sometimes the PI might not know which one to use, or you might not know which one to use when you're adding something in, right? So let's say that like there's 2 of them, and it could even be that we have them in different sources, but let's just go ahead and add a second one. So now you can see, if we click this, does it actually not add another one? Oh well. Thought it would add a second one. Oh, maybe it won't let you add a second item from the same computer, but let's just say, you and a colleague both have the same thing, but it's in like from a different source, right? So this is, or a different like kind of source material. So this is like a journal article, and this is like a book. It'll show up as having the exact same information in this little duplicate items folder. So it's always good when you have a lot of these to kind of go through them and just figure out which one is correct. So you can kind of, just look at these two items and figure out which one you want to keep, which one you want to delete, and then you can send them to the trash. But yeah, that's about it for all the things that you really need to know for Zotero. Most of it is pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward, but if you do have problems, let me know. I understand that this stuff can be pretty challenging at some point because you have software that might not cooperate with certain parts of your computer or certain web pages or whatnot. So just let me know if you do have any problems. My email I'm sure will be readily available, but if not, it's just ryanbarr@usc.edu. I can type that out for you. Another thing that you can do is you can just add items without having to go to a web page. So you can just add the item.